Hello again, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this Saturday's edition of Alaska Weather. I'm Dave Percy, meteorologist with the National Weather Service. I'll be hosting today's show once again. And on the hazardous weather graphic, wind chill advisories are out again today here from the central interior, the Koyukuk Valley down in toward Tanana and along the Alaska Range. But that's due to end here in the next couple hours, actually by 6 p.m. here Saturday evening. And conditions already improving up there, but otherwise wind chills were anywhere from 35 to 45 below, but that's going to end here shortly. Also, Thompson Pass wind chill advisory remains out until I believe it's noon Sunday, and they'll continue to see wind chills there northeast Prince William Sound, especially up toward Thompson Pass. Anywhere the wind's blowing 15 miles an hour or more, wind chills will run from 35 to 50 degrees below zero. Again, that's overnight tonight and until maybe noon tomorrow. Out in Bristol Bay here, we've got a winter weather advisory out for snow and blowing snow, looking for a fair amount, anywhere from 10 to 16 inches here, and that's north and northwest of King Salmon, so much less down from King Salmon, Igigik down toward Pilot Point there. But winds gusting 35 miles an hour, blowing and drifting snow will greatly reduce visibilities. Could even be some areas of whiteout conditions in there. But that's out for tonight, and also for the Kuskokwim Delta. Winter weather advisory out, and they're looking for 6 to 8 inches of snow, along with the gusty winds there will cause snow and blowing snow in those areas. And let's see, northern panhandle here. Lynn Canal and the Haynesboro and the northern southeast coast here, looking at a wind chill advisory tonight, wind chills 30, 35 below through the night tonight, possibly into early tomorrow morning. And winds quite strong, especially in Lynn Canal there, throughout Lynn Canal, gusting a little over 60 miles an hour at Eldred Rock, and that extending down toward Rocky Island. They're seeing gusts 55 miles an hour there at the southern end, and then less wind, but still breezy and chilly here over the central and southeast coast. But the northern areas there in the Haynesboro area, seeing the wind chill advisories. And out to the west, blizzard warning out until there for the St. Lawrence Island area. Again, blizzard warning out until 6 p.m. Sunday, tomorrow evening, in that area, with another more storminess coming northward there. So look for winds gusting 55 miles an hour, and you may pick up 3 to 5 inches additional snowfall there during the time frame. And so that's out until 6 p.m. tomorrow. And I believe up along the Arctic coast, central and east side there, has a wind advisory out. Or not wind advisory, a wind chill advisory out, looking at wind chills possibly as low as 55 degrees below zero. Again, 15 miles an hour or more of wind there. And that's out for tonight until 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. And that about covers it all, watch warning advisory wise. Looking at satellite imagery, this first front that came up was a lot stronger yesterday, but weakening, really just completely dissolved here. Anything east of the Alaska Range, just some clouds and maybe a few light flurries. Really, there were no significant precipitation amounts of this at all as it swings up. Wind is much more of a wind producer than a precipitation or snow producer. And the next one here pushing up to the northeast already, spreading clouds into Kodiak Island, Bristol Bay, and beginning to kick the winds up along the southwest coast, as well as the Alaska Peninsula here. That low center tracking right up just west of False Pass. So a cold bay seeing winds, peak wind gusts so far is 63 miles per hour with that, and winds on the increase here over the southwest interior as well. In fact, pretty windy conditions with this first front up here to the north. Kotzebue seeing gusts to around, I believe, 55 miles per hour this afternoon, with also red dog seeing gusts to about a little over 60 miles an hour. So quite windy conditions here in the west, with a gradient between the Arctic high here sitting over the eastern interior northwest Canada. Clear skies, but the ground showing up white because temperatures are far below zero again. Minus 40s many areas here this afternoon. In fact, Chakitsic over the, actually Chakitsic and Fort Yukon, both sitting at 50 degrees below zero at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And that came up from a low at Chakitsic of 54 below, so not much of a range there, but definitely staying in the minus 50s all day long. And milder temperatures coming in with the southwest flow, obviously, here over the southwest coast. In the mid to upper 30s, Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians, Pribilofs, kind of seeing some wet snow, occasionally mixed with rain. That was going on also at Unalaska, but amounts are pretty light, about 1,500 water equivalent there, although winds gusting 40 to 50 miles an hour across the Pribilofs as well, windy conditions, and then a pretty strong low center back here over the northwest Bering Sea, and just kind of breezy with rain and snow showers for the central western Aleutians. And rolling this by one more time, you can see the cloud advancement here, and this should, good southwest flow, should push this right into the interior and bring a chance of snow across south central Alaska tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. But it doesn't look like anything too heavy, but it definitely will pull the temperatures back to the good side of zero here across southern Alaska for tomorrow night. Should stay above zero, and shouldn't be much of a fall from tomorrow's highs of around 5 to 12 degrees. Otherwise today, strong Arctic high over the Yukon there, and it's dominating much of the central and eastern interior here, as well as the southeast coast with the strong northerly winds, with the gradient here with this system passing by to the east. Snowfall getting into Lynn Canal, but not quite, didn't reach the coast there, and it looks like that'll just kick off to the southeast, and you'll be precipitation free across the Panhandle. And this system bringing rain at sea level here to the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians, and in a mixture farther to the north, and then just snow here, but that not really reaching, barely reaching the southwest coast here. In fact, I think Macquarie had some rain in the observation there with the warmer southerly winds, and then this front pushing up to the north and the windy conditions. Could be some local areas of blowing snow with that, but it's this mass coming northward here. It's going to put St. Lawrence Island in the blizzard warning criteria zone later tonight and through tomorrow. And for tomorrow, you can see that low center kind of tracks northeastward here, and that strong low center still persisting just off the Russian Far East coast there over the northwest Bering Sea. And so as that comes northward with this next front, blowing snow, blizzard warning, St. Lawrence Island, Bering Strait coast, but not much eastward headway with this, at least initially. Looks like some precipitation will push back in across Bristol Bay again with the heavier snow over the Bristol Bay area northwest of King Salmon, and then lightening up a little bit over the Yukon Delta. And still tomorrow, another clear, cold day with increasing winds, though. You can see a tighter gradient here, so places like Delta Junction, maybe over toward Healy, start seeing an increase on east-southeasterly winds. Also along the central western Brooks Range, more of a gradient, so you could see an increase in the winds there. Look for winds to slowly diminish here over the northern Panhandle, but they won't end completely. And they'll stay kind of breezy, dry, and chilly across southeast coast down to the Queen Charlotte Islands. And then for Sunday, we've got this system pushing eastward here with some light snow up along the North Gulf Coast late tomorrow, and that'll extend back to the northwest along that frontal boundary, and snow showers following that in behind. Then on Monday, weak low pressure in the Gulf of Alaska, snow showers staying off the coast of the Panhandle, so a couple more dry days there coming up, but less wind, and some light snow or snow showers back to the northwest. High pressure taking over the Bering Sea. Lows tonight, again, anywhere from 35 to 55 below here in the eastern interior, milder teens to mid-20s southwest coast, and 10 to 20 below south central Alaska. Highs tomorrow, though, 10 to 15 above south of the Alaska Range, Copper River Basin, north, eastern interior staying well below zero. And for the Panhandle on Monday morning, temperatures on the chilly side, 0 to 15 above, followed by highs in the mid-teens, southern Alaska near.
And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Rolling into the first line weather graphic for Sunday morning. Big batch of IFR here coming onto the coast off the Bering Sea there, but really thinning out here as you cross the Alaska and even Aleutian ranges here, but still a band extending into southern Cook Inlet, Kachemak Bay from Kamishak Bay. and then up toward Resurrection Bay, and then areas of back toward Kodiak Island, breaking out the VFR, Alaska Peninsula, all the way out to Kiska Island, Shimianatu Marginal, and some IFR getting through the strait there and right up along the northwest coast. Otherwise, VFR here to the northeast and southeast. For the afternoon, that area advances east and northeast, increasing here over the Gulf of Alaska and on up into western Prince William Sound, across southern Cook Inlet, Kachemak Bay, becoming VFR, Kodiak Island. But Kuskokwim Valley, especially in the northern areas, will be IFR. Susitna Valley, especially west toward the Alaska Range IFR, right on up to the northwest coast. And the Bering Sea are looking pretty good, not too shabby for the Aleutians either. Some marginal VFR for AKwx out to Kiska, otherwise VFR. And VFR, Arctic Coast, North Slope, Eastern Interior, Copper River Basin, and the Southeast Coast. For the Monday morning outlook, that area continues northward and hangs together fairly well, but begins to dissipate a little bit here. But still some IFR coming into the central Tanana Valley and interior, up across Koyukuk Valley, westward across the Kobuk, into the Noatak Valley, northwest coast there, Cape Lisburne. South of Point Lay, though, right through the Bering Strait to St. Lawrence Island. Marginal VFR showing up now for Monday afternoon for the out toward the central western Arctic coast, and then a big slug of marginal VFR, and that's about it. No IFR out here for the Bering Sea, and VFR persisting there. Atka, Fox Islands, and a little bit marginal kind of for the, but not too bad for the Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island VFR, Cook Inlet VFR, trying to work into the Susitna Valley. Stays VFR from Yakutat and a little to the west all the way down to Dixon Entrance. And for Monday afternoon, I'm sorry there, we got IFR now on the southern slopes of the western Brooks Range from the Koyukuk Valley westward up to the northwest coast, and kind of scattered areas of IFR with the marginal VFR a lot more prevalent here over the interior. But south and east of the Alaska Range, mostly VFR for the day, Monday afternoon, VFR Kodiak Island, northwest flow there, and downsloping off the range here, clearing it out over southern Alaska, with some marginal VFR over the eastern Gulf there, slipping on up into maybe Yakutat, but staying off the coast for a couple more VFR days for the southeast coast. Anatuvik, VFR. Adigan, same forecast, VFR conditions there, so not really looking at any change. And Lake Clark and Merrill, though, becoming IFR, especially on the eastern entrances, greatest chance of IFR. And for rainy, go marginal, the way it looks at this point in time, gradually deteriorating, sea lanes visibility is coming down, but I think it won't hit IFR through the day tomorrow. And for windy, starting out VFR, becoming marginal, latter part of the afternoon. Isabel, I think it'll stay VFR. You'll see clouds increase, ceilings lower, but I think it'll stay above the marginal VFR threshold. And from Antasta, VFR, no doubt. And Tanita, VFR, becoming marginal later in the day. And for Portage, VFR becoming marginal VFR with IFR for sure on the eastern entrance in the mid to later part of the afternoon, if not a little sooner. And for Chilkoot and White, good VFR. Freezing levels here, 2,000 feet up to southern Kodiak Island at the surface north of St. Matthew Island, but that's about it, 2,000 feet well to the south of the Aleutians. And at the surface here, Gulf of Alaska, down now even south of the Queen Charlottes. And for icing, the moisture coming in, areas of light to isolated moderate rime icing possible here, the heaviest in these orange shaded areas of about 4,000 feet. Jet stream, upper level ridge shifting eastward now and actually thinning out a little bit here with flow busting through across southern Alaska, southwest, but a split right through here. So that front will be weakening as it moves eastward, but not to the extent that the first one did overnight and early this morning here. Should hold together a little better. And 9,000 feet, 40 to 55 knot winds associated with this low up over the northwest Bering Sea, lighter under high pressure toward the eastern interior, about the same for 3,000. So looking at turbulence, moderate chop, Kodiak Island, Alaska Peninsula, Bristol Bay, Kuskokwim Valley, western Brooks Range, St. Lawrence Island, Aleutians, and the southern Panhandle.
Hello, I'm a GOES-R series weather satellite orbiting 22,000 miles above Earth. I can see a lot of cool stuff from up here, and I take pictures of it with my spiffy camera that has 16 different settings. I have such good eyesight, I can see clouds, snow, smoke, smog, and ash. So I can warn you about dangerous conditions and help you avoid them. When storms are brewing, I watch them closely and help with hurricane, tornado, and flood warnings to help keep you safe. And my lightning mapper tracks lightning strikes way up in the sky, even through dark, dense clouds. I also help with search and rescue missions. I listen for distress signals from emergency beacons and tell search and rescue teams just where to find people who need help. But even when I'm keeping a close eye on Earth, I'm monitoring weather out here in space, too. I watch the sun for big bursts of energy, which send waves of radiation toward Earth that can affect power grids, block communication with planes, cause errors in GPS, and damage satellites. Space weather is also very dangerous for astronauts working outside the International Space Station. I warn them so they can get inside where they'll be safe. So the next time you watch a weather report or check your phone for the forecast, remember, that's me. So look to the sky and wave. I'll be here. Whoa! Things are looking pretty bad down there. But don't worry. I'm going to give weather forecasters a heads up and help you stay safe. I'm a GOES series weather satellite, and one of my jobs is to keep an eye on Earth's weather as I orbit above. But I'm 22,000 miles above Earth. How does your local weather forecaster know what I see all the way up here? First, I have to figure out what's going on. I point my special camera at the Earth and take pictures of the clouds I see below. My pictures show where the clouds are, but I also take lots of other notes about the clouds. For example, how high they reach into the atmosphere, how much rain they might cause, and when a severe storm may be forming. But I can't keep all of this information to myself. I have to share it with weather forecasters down on Earth. A big antenna is waiting for my call. Since I'm a satellite, I send my pictures and notes in a computer language of ones and zeros. Luckily, the antenna speaks my language. Computers connected to the antenna organize my notes and combine all of the pictures and cloud information and translate them into weather maps. They send a version of the maps back up to me. I'll hold on to these for later. Another copy of the maps is split into smaller pieces. This helps the maps move faster from one place to another. The map pieces are then sent for processing before being sent back up in the sky to a communication satellite. From there, the maps are picked up by antennas at the National Weather Service forecast offices in each region. There are more than 100 offices. I also take the maps that I received and send them out to companies that specialize in making the maps more colorful and better for viewing on TVs and computers. The colorful maps and the maps from the forecast offices then go to your local weather forecaster. The forecaster combines the information from these maps with lots of other information, like model forecast data and radar data, to make predictions about the upcoming weather in your area. And that's how I help you find out if bad weather is going to ruin your afternoon plans. You're welcome. Soon it will be my time to shine. In outer space. I'm the GOES-R satellite. That stands for Geostationary Operational Environmental Satellite. And the R stands for my order in this series of weather satellites. Like my older siblings before me, I'll do a lot for watching weather, but I'm pretty special because I have a lot of new gadgets. I'm originally from Colorado, but my journey to space has a few stops along the way. I'll be shipped in a very special satellite shipping container to Kennedy Space Center. Moving me around is not easy. I'm over 18 feet wide and weigh 6,000 pounds. And then things get really exciting. I get loaded onto an Atlas V541 launch vehicle. A big rocket! Woo! After Atlas and I blast off together, my compartment separates from the launch vehicle and I continue to climb higher and higher. Then I break away completely and unfurl my solar panel and antenna. After that, I have to use my thrusters to get into just the right position, 22,000 miles above the ground and traveling 1.9 miles per second to keep up with Earth's rotation. And then I can officially start my job along with my fellow GOES sisters, where I take advanced pictures for more accurate weather forecasts, map lightning in real time, and improve the monitoring of the sun's activity. It's going to be so awesome! I can't wait!
And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Welcome back. Looking at today's sea ice analysis, really not much change from yesterday. In fact, now with the southerly winds, it's going to be obviously retreating, melting a little bit, retreating back to the north here, as long as the southerly winds keep blowing. And for the coastal water forecasts, southern Panhandle, southern inside waters, clear and straight. North winds 15 tomorrow, 3-foot seas, small craft advisories for Stevens Passage, north 25 knots, and gale warnings out for Lynn Canal, again for north winds, sustained 35 knots, 8-foot seas, and east-northeast 15 to 20 here on the south coast, so seas running 11 to 12 feet, and east winds at 15 on the north coast, seas 9 to 10 feet. And for Monday, crank the winds up again for Lynn Canal there, coming back up to 45 knots, so the gradient must be tightening up again. And north winds at 30 knots, just under gale force for Stevens Passage, northwest 25, clear and straight, northeast 25 there, blowing across Prince of Wales Island into the marine zone, and then southeast 20, kicks up to 25, and then back down to 20, so southeast 20 to 25 for the central and north coast, seas 9 to 11 feet. Prince William Sound, easterlies at 15 tomorrow with 3-foot seas, not too bad, but small craft advisories there in the Middleton Island zone, southeast 25. And then small craft advisories here, southeast winds 30 knots, western North Gulf Coast and the Barren Islands, and gales. Kamishak Bay, northeast 35, gale warnings, southern Cook Inlet, south of the Forelands, northeast, sustained 35 knots, 12-foot seas, and northern Cook Inlet, north at 20. And that'll come down to about 10 knots from the northeast on Monday, and southern Cook Inlet down from the 35 to 20 knots from the north, 5-foot seas, northwest 30 for Kamishak Bay, north 30 for the Barren Islands. And northwest, 25 knots, small craft advisories, western North Gulf Coast, northeast 20 on the east side, Prince William Sound, northeast at 15 with 3-foot seas. Kodiak Island, westerlies 30 to 35 knots tomorrow, seas 6 to 12 feet. And Sitkinak all the way down to Cape Sarachev, westerly winds 30 knots, 14 to 16-foot seas. West 30 knots here for the Bering Sea side of the Alaska Peninsula. And gosh, probably Bristol Bay, even though the number fell off, probably west at 30 knots also, or 25 to 30. Either way, small craft advisories based just on that 8-foot sea height. And for the Monday outlook, we'll go northwest to 20 for Bristol Bay with 5-foot seas, and west winds on the Bering Sea side of the peninsula turn northwest on the Pacific side and increase from Castle Cape on up and up the east side of Kodiak Island, 30-knot winds, Shelikof Strait, small craft advisories with northwest winds at 25 and 5-foot seas. For Unalaska Island, west winds tomorrow, 25 knots. Seas maybe up to 14 feet, and west-southwest 25 for Unmak Island. And for the Adak-Atka area, west-southwest 25 knots. and southwest 25-knot winds all the way out to Chimianatu. And then for Monday, swinging around the southeast out here, gales, western Aleutians 35, in fact, Kiska toward Chitka toward Adak about 40 knots, and then south to southeast 30 to 35 knots, central Aleutians, and west-northwest to mostly northwest for the East Fox Islands here with seas running at 20 knots with seas running 8 to 10, 11 feet. And for the southwest coast, small brisk wind advisories tomorrow along the southwest coast here with west-southwest 25 to 30 knots, 30-knot southwest winds for the Pribilofs. Same thing for St. Matthew Island. Those will seas up to 26 feet though, and then gale warning, south winds, southerly gales, St. Lawrence Island 35, and brisk wind advisories for Norton Sound with southeast winds at 25. On Monday, southwest 25 to 30 knots, Norton Sound, St. Lawrence Island, southwest 20 here along the coast, and southwest 30, 15-foot seas, St. Matthew Island, Pribilofs down to 20 knots from the northwest, but seas not really getting under 13 feet. Eastern Boulevard Sea Coast, brisk wind advisory on the far east end here for east winds 25 knots, slowly diminishing from the southeast down to 15 on the central coast, then coming back up 20 knots on the west side, and then full gales here from Cape Beaufort to Wales, southeast 40 knots. And the outlook for Monday, swinging around to south-southwest and pull it down to brisk wind advisory levels here from Wales up to Cape Beaufort. Brisk wind advisory also for the western Arctic coast, south 25, south 20 on the central and east central coast, the far east coast there, eastern zone along the eastern Beaufort Sea coast, south at 15. For tonight, cold high pressure again, temperatures 35 to 55 below zero in the eastern interior. Milder though here in the west, obviously with the southerly wind and rain, some coming into Kodiak Island, snow, blizzard warning St. Lawrence Island, and that ends tomorrow, and chance of snow interior the next day.
These forecasts are for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating.